It's really beyond questioning that Trump is planning another coup, and this time he's planned it better than last time. Except for one little detail, he's actually significantly likelier to succeed. Let me explain. Trump started saber-rattling a couple of months ago about how the election was going to be unfair if he lost, essentially, preparing the way for another coup, another attempt. What I think a lot of us have forgotten is that he did the same thing in the months leading up to the last election. It just didn't seem so ominous because we didn't realize he was actually going to try to follow through with it. All of his yelling about how an election was going to be unfair and should be overturned if he essentially didn't win seemed a little ridiculous because nobody had ever tried anything like that before. Well, this time we know the signs, and he's doing all the same stuff again. So he's going to try the same thing again. Except remember all of those adults in the room, like even Mike Pence, who managed to keep it from going all the way through? They have all been replaced by people who have sworn allegiance to this man under all circumstances and who have promised to overturn any laws that are in the way of him winning. More importantly, he spent the last 4 years replacing people all the way down to the bottom of the ladder, people who certify little pieces of form here and there to make sure that they will make sure that he is able to overturn this election. So the paperwork is going to be a train all the way from the bottom to the top, full of people that he has put in place. In other words, we might be screwed. Now, there is one thing that is really helpful. Well, maybe two. One is the possibility that we could win overwhelmingly in the sort of way that he really can't deny that he lost. I think that's a little bit presumptuous. Assuming that he can't deny something is a lot to ask. But there is one more thing, and that is he's not in the White House right now. Remember last time when he should have sent in the DC National Guard and he didn't? Well, now he's not in charge of that. In fact, all of those big levers of power are out of his hands, and the person who's in the White House right now is not going to let this happen. That does not mean we are not going to have another January 6th on our hands. It just means that this time we're going to have a little bit more control over it. Also, the Mike Pence in this situation is Kamala Harris. My guess is she is probably not going to have a problem certifying the election. But keep your eye out on methods that are going to use to try to prevent you from voting, try to prevent your vote from counting, and if at all possible, vote in person, because those are probably the most likely ones to not cause a problem. That said, we've worked very hard to provide rights of people to vote remotely in various ways, and you should be able to exercise those rights. And it's better for you to vote than not to vote. Protect your vote, and please vote.